Hello friends, imagine holding a tiny copper-colored coin that almost everyone has touched, spent, and forgotten, yet this ordinary 1998 1 cent quietly carries the fingerprints of American history, modern minting technology, and a collector market that rewards sharp eyes and patience. For 1 full minute, picture this: a coin struck at the edge of a millennium, born when the U.S. Mint was balancing tradition and change, when billions of pennies were rushing through pockets while a few special pieces slipped into rolls with subtle differences that only true hunters notice. This is the kind of coin people ignore at the counter, but the same coin, when preserved, examined, and understood, can stop experienced collectors mid-sentence. If you've ever wondered how something so common can still hide surprises, how condition can transform a face value cent into a conversation piece, and why modern pennies are quietly becoming a battlefield of varieties and errors, then stay with me, because this 1998 Lincoln cent is far more than spare change. The 1998 1 cent of the United States of America belongs to the iconic Lincoln Memorial Series, a design that ran from 1959 to 2008 and defined the look of American pennies for half a century. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's dignified profile, originally designed by Victor David Brenner, continues to project calm authority, with the "In God We Trust" liberty, and the date, 1998, framing a portrait recognized around the world. By this time, the portrait had been refined through decades of die work, and sharp examples show crisp hair detail, strong cheek contours, and clean lettering that separates average circulation strikes from coins that truly stand out. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial appears with architectural precision, and on the strongest strikes you can actually see the tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, a detail many people never notice unless the coin is well preserved. Composition is one of the most important stories behind the 1998 cent. While many still call it a copper penny, this coin is actually made of 97.5% zinc with a thin 2.5% copper plating, a change introduced in 1982 to reduce costs. This modern composition means the coin weighs about 2.5 grams and measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter. The zinc core makes these pennies especially sensitive to damage. Once the copper plating is compromised, corrosion can quickly attack the zinc, creating bubbling, pitting, or dark spots. Because of this, high-grade 1998 cents that remain clean, bright, and fully plated are more desirable than most people realize. Condition is everything, and survival in top shape is far rarer than raw mintage numbers suggest. Speaking of mintage, 1998 was a year of massive production. Philadelphia and Denver together struck billions of pennies to meet everyday demand, flooding circulation with fresh coins. This enormous output is exactly why collectors often underestimate the year. When billions are made, people assume nothing can be special, but in numismatics, rarity is not only about how many were struck, it's about how many survived in exceptional condition. Coins that were immediately spent, rolled, dropped, and scratched rarely survive with full mint luster and sharp details. That's why certified examples in high mint state grades command strong interest, especially those with blazing red color and minimal marks. Mint marks play their role as well. Coins from Philadelphia carry no mint mark, while Denver issues display a small D beneath the date. Each mint had its own die characteristics, striking pressure, and quality control quirks, leading to subtle differences that specialists love to study. Collectors often compare Philadelphia versus Denver strikes to find which mint produced better details in a given year, and for 1998, both mints can produce excellent coins, but only when the dies were fresh and properly aligned. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1998 1 cent lies in varieties and errors. This is where ordinary turns extraordinary. Die cracks, doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchettes, and other minting anomalies can transform a 1 cent coin into a highly sought collectible. Some 1998 cents show minor doubling in lettering or date, while others reveal die deterioration that gives the coin a distinctive texture. Error coins are accidents frozen in metal, and collectors pay attention because each one tells a unique story about how the coin was made. Finding a genuine error in a common year like 1998 is thrilling precisely because it proves that surprises can still be hiding in plain sight. Color designation is another critical factor. Collectors categorize copper-plated cents as red, red-brown, or brown, depending on how much original mint luster and color remains. A fully red 1998 cent with strong shine is far more appealing than a dull brown example, even if both are technically uncirculated. This difference can mean the gap between a coin that sits unnoticed and one that earns a place in a certified holder and a serious collection. Luster, strike quality, and surface preservation together decide a coin's fate in the market. Historically, the 1998 cent represents a moment just before the Lincoln Memorial design's final decade. It sits in the modern era, when coin collecting began shifting from classic circulation finds to roll hunting, variety attribution, and third-party grading. Many collectors who grew up in the late 1990s remember these pennies as pocket change, and nostalgia now plays a subtle role in demand. As time passes, coins from this period gain emotional value alongside their numismatic characteristics, especially when preserved as they look the day they left the mint. Market interest in modern pennies has grown steadily, driven by collectors who understand that condition rarity matters. While circulated 1998 cents remain worth face value, high-grade mint state examples, particularly those with exceptional eye appeal or recognized varieties, can be worth many times more. The lesson here is simple but powerful: never judge a coin only by its date. Judge it by its condition, its strike, its color, and its story. That's how experienced collectors separate noise from treasure. In the end, the 1998 1 cent of the United States of America is a perfect example of why numismatics rewards curiosity. It is common yet complex, inexpensive yet potentially impressive, overlooked yet capable of surprising even seasoned collectors. Every time you pick one up, you are holding a small piece of American monetary history, a product of modern minting that still carries human imperfections and hidden details. Look closely, study patiently, and you may discover that this quiet penny has far more to say than its face value suggests. Now go deeper into that moment and understand this truth: the 1998 1 cent is a coin that belongs to a generation most people underestimate. It was born in an era when cash was still king, when pennies were minted not as collectibles but as workhorses of the economy. Millions of hands touched this coin every single day, and that constant movement is exactly what makes untouched examples so powerful today. When you hold a clean 1998 cent, you are not just holding a coin, you are holding something that somehow escaped years of damage, friction, and neglect. That survival alone gives it a silent strength collectors respect. Look closely at the surfaces of a strong 1998 cent and you will notice how modern minting technology tried to perfect consistency, yet human and mechanical limits still left tiny differences. The fields can show mirror-like flashes when light hits at the right angle, while weaker strikes appear flat and lifeless. This contrast is where collectors' eyes wake up. A sharply struck Lincoln's jawline, clear separation in the hair, and bold lettering in "Liberty" instantly raise a coin above the ordinary. These are not small details, these are the differences that decide whether a coin is ignored or admired. The zinc core under the thin copper plating tells another hidden story. This fragile construction means that time is not kind to these cents. Moisture, heat, and even fingerprints can slowly destroy them from within. That is why a fully original, damage-free 1998 cent feels almost unnatural today. It survived when thousands around it did not. Many coins from this year already show dark spots, bubbling, or edge splits, but the few that remain clean and red look almost frozen in time. Collectors understand this and quietly hunt for such survivors. Then comes the psychological power of the date itself. 1998 sits just before the end of the 20th century, carrying a subconscious weight. Coins from this period feel modern, yet old enough to trigger nostalgia. For many collectors, this was the era of childhood pocket change, and nostalgia is a force stronger than numbers. When nostalgia meets condition rarity, demand slowly builds, and that is exactly what is happening with late 1990s Lincoln cents. Error hunters see 1998 as fertile ground. High-speed production meant dies wore out quickly, increasing the chance of die cracks, chips, and weak strikes. Some coins escaped with misaligned dies are subtle doubling that only appears under magnification. These are not fantasy stories, these are real coins found in circulation and rolls even today. The thrill of discovering a genuine error on a coin everyone else ignores is addictive, and the 1998 cent offers that possibility every time someone looks twice instead of spending it. Certified examples prove the point even further. When a 1998 cent earns a high mint state grade with full red color, it stops being just a penny. It becomes evidence. Evidence that modern coins can be condition rare. Evidence that patience pays. Evidence that knowledge turns pocket change into something worth talking about. This is why experienced collectors never laugh at modern cents, they quietly respect them. And here is the real collector's mindset shift. The value of the 1998 1 cent is not loud, it is silent. It does not scream rarity through low mintage or silver content. Instead, it whispers through survival, sharpness, and originality. The people who understand this do not rush to sell. They study, store, and wait. Because history has shown again and again that coins everyone once ignored are the same coins people later regret spending. So the next time a 1998 Lincoln cent rests in your palm, do not see it as 1 cent. See it as a test. A test of whether you look closely or look away. A test of whether you follow the crowd or trust your eye. Because in the world of coin collecting, the biggest discoveries are often hiding inside the most ordinary moments, and the 1998 1 cent is living proof of that. Beyond the minting process, another fascinating aspect of the 1998 1 cent is its role in everyday life. Think about it. This penny traveled through countless hands, jangled in registers, fell into couches, was tossed into piggy banks, and sometimes even forgotten under carpets. Every small scratch, nick, or color fade tells a story of circulation. Yet, amid billions produced, a tiny fraction survived without a single mark, retaining the mint's original brilliance. This duality, mass production versus rare survival, is what makes this year so intriguing. The coin itself is simple, yet it holds layers of history invisible to casual eyes. The cultural context of 1998 adds another layer. This was a time before digital payments dominated, when coins and bills dictated the rhythm of daily transactions. Children collected pennies in jars, vendors gave them as change, and adults often dismissed them as trivial. Yet, in hindsight, these coins became silent witnesses to everyday American life. Each cent, while physically small, carries intangible value, a snapshot of society's reliance on tangible money, the subtle evolution of commerce, and the design continuity that links past and present Lincoln cents. Collectors also focus on the technical qualities of this year's pennies. The strike quality varied slightly between Philadelphia and Denver, with some dies producing sharper details on the memorial's columns or Lincoln's profile. Minor variations in edge rim thickness, die polish, and metal flow during striking can make two seemingly identical coins look different under magnification. For those with a trained eye, these differences are not imperfections, they are identifiers, proof of the coin's journey from blank planchette to finished piece. Another layer is eye appeal. Modern collectors evaluate 1998 cents not just by grade but by surface luster, color, and visual harmony. A fully red coin, untoned and smooth, immediately draws attention. Even slight discoloration or uneven toning can downgrade the perceived value, making condition critical. These subtle nuances are why a coin in your pocket might be worth face value, while its twin in pristine condition could quietly sell for multiples, depending on buyer awareness. Errors continue to add intrigue. In 1998, high-speed presses were prone to producing minor anomalies, clipped planchettes, weak strikes, or doubled dies. While these errors are small in proportion to total mintage, they are enormous in collectible significance. A coin that escaped circulation with a slight doubling on the date or letters suddenly becomes a sought-after treasure. For enthusiasts, finding such an anomaly is like discovering a secret map in plain sight, turning a common penny into a collectible gem. Finally, the 1998 1 cent reminds collectors of patience and attention to detail. Unlike older rare coins whose scarcity is obvious, modern cents require study, comparison, and awareness. A single coin could reveal die characteristics, plating quality, or even minting quirks previously unnoticed. The more time you spend examining it, the more stories emerge, about the minting process, the economy of the late 1990s, and the subtle artistry in a coin everyone once took for granted. In summary, the 1998 Lincoln Cent is more than a copper zinc disc. It is a time capsule, a survivor of mass production, a playground for error hunters, a lesson in condition rarity, and a whisper of nostalgia. Every detail, from Lincoln's engraved profile to the memorial's tiny statue, carries significance. Every scratch, shine, and variation tells a story. To the casual eye, it is a penny. To the collector, it is an invitation. Look closer, study patiently, and discover the hidden treasures that lie in the ordinary. Don't miss out. Like, share and subscribe to Rare Coins, value for rare finds, hidden treasures, and amazing coin secrets.